I think you're consuming too much content, and I think it's way more than you think it is. Let me tell you my old schedule before self-improvement. I used to wake up, grab my phone immediately, stay in bed, finally get up after like an hour and a half, maybe 30 minutes, depending on the day, depending on when I'd wake up. I'd go downstairs, make my food. While I was eating, I'd watch something, have something up, pulled up. Then when I come back upstairs, open up the computer, watch some YouTube, turn on the PlayStation. It's like I'm always looking for the next thing to kind of distract my mind by. But there's more. What do you do as soon as you get in the car? Well, turn on some music, make sure you get the right playlist on. What do you do when you go to the gym? Gotta have the right earbuds in, play the right playlist. What do you do when you eat? Obviously pull something up so you can watch. It's not just about being on our phones, it's about consuming all types of content. And not all content is equal, because the music that you listen to might be good, but then when you're scrolling on Instagram or TikTok, you might see some other shit that's bad, because not all content's equal. But what I'm trying to get at is the amount of content you consume, you should kind of learn how to regulate it in a sense. I'll show you, for example. I don't know if you heard of this concept of brain points, but pretty much when we start our day, we begin with like a certain amount of brain points that we can give to activities and give to things. So let's say that we start with 1,000 brain points. I'm also going to speak from like a fantasy kind of sense. So I'm going to turn these brain points into mana points. Mana points. If you don't know what mana is, it's like power system that's made in fantasy. If you've watched or read or have heard of the concept of mana, then you kind of know what I'm talking about. But let's say we start with 1,000 mana per day, right? And let's say as soon as you wake up, you go on your phone. That's 100 brain points lost. 100 mana points lost. Okay? Then you go in the car. That's 50 mana points. Okay, you go to the gym, play some music, 50 mana points. But it's also, you give 100 mana points to your workout. You're already down 300. Then you have 700 left. But the thing is, we have certain tasks that require more mana points and more brain points. For example, if you want to get some deep work done, if you want to get a study session done, it would require more mana points or more brain points to do that. So it's better that you conserve those brain points instead of giving it to things that take it away and don't give you anything in return. A lot of the times, the activities like that we do, that we consume, they don't have good ROI, which is return on investment. We don't get anything in return for giving our brain points or giving our mana points away to these things. Like, for example, I personally believe that the bad content is anything that involves scrolling reels, scrolling on TikTok. Also, too, I stopped listening to degenerate rap music. I stopped listening to like Drake. I stopped listening to all of them because a lot of the times, like, I believe words are energy. So when I hear them talking about women, when I hear them talking about drinking, when I hear them talking about all like that fuck shit, I know I curse. I try not to curse as much anymore. But when I hear like a lot of them cursing, it's just my brain points are being taken away from them. And you don't realize it, but whoever you listen to, what type of content you consume, you will probably turn out to kind of talk or speak or think like that person. Let's say that you want to get some deep work done, but you are down to 500 mana points. It's the second half of the day, and your study session costs 400 points. Boom. And now you have 100 mana points left. What I'm really trying to get at is to conserve your mana and give your mana points or your brain points to things that will give you a good return on investment in return. For example, reading is a good return on investment because from giving brain points to reading, you get knowledge in return. You get things that will help you progress in life. Things like going to the gym. Going to the gym is not really a brain thing or mental thing. It's more physical. But of course, when it comes to physical too, it gives away some of the mental too. Thinking about, okay, which weights should I do? What workout should I do next? I'll tell you right now what I do. When I learned this like a while ago about this concept of brain points or mana points. But what I do now is I eat the same foods every single day, because what I used to do is I used to wake up and think about, okay, what am I going to eat? For lunch, what am I going to eat? Before I work out, what am I going to eat? It was always that question would come up every single day, and thinking about it actually costs brain points. Let's really think about it. Let's say you start with 1,000 mana points again, right? Get rid of all this. And you ask the question yourself, what am I going to eat? And so with that, negative 20 mana points for thinking about what you're going to eat. But then that times 4 times a day, 5 times a day, however you're eating, that's 80 mana points. It's like, that's not a lot, but you don't realize that those little ones, they add up. They add up because when you want to do those big tasks later in the day or in the beginning of the day, they cost. There was one time in my life where I went past the mental bandwidth of my mind. What you don't know is I used to do affiliate marketing. I used to edit videos and post them on social media, build up a brand. And I used to work late at night. I used to work 10-hour shifts. And then after the shift, I'd work out for an hour or two. And then all of a sudden, it's 11 p.m. at night. I'm eating and I'm trying to work. This time at night, all my brain points are gone. It's, let me get a new page, hold on. At this point, let's say I started with 1,000. I'm literally at 980 mana points gone from that day. And so I literally have 20 mana points to do my editing and do my work. And with this, it's kind of like progressive overload, because I feel like you can excel and can increase your mana points or your brain points during the day by what? Sure, you can drink coffee. You can not eat too many carbs to give you brain fog. There are things you can do to increase the mental bandwidth of your mind. And so with this, I kind of just progressively overloaded my mind. It was all willpower. It was literally all willpower to get this task done. But I felt I was editing the video, trying to think of a video idea, and in my mind, I was just so, like, I just couldn't think straight, and I just kept trying to think, because in the program that teaches me how to do affiliate marketing, they teach about focusing your mind and your energy on one single point, and you will find the answer. And so I tried doing that, and I started to get like my head started to fucking hurt, and I had so much brain fog because I just ate a bunch of carbs. Because I went to Wawa. If you don't know what Wawa is, it's in America. It's on the East Coast. It's like this place that you go to. It's like a nice convenience store, but the food there, I don't eat there anymore. But I bought like a quesadilla, and you can only imagine like all the ingredients in there. But that's besides the fact. In my mind, I was just trying to think of a video idea, and my mental bandwidth was just like hurting, and I didn't know. And for me to go past that is to literally progressively overload. You know the concept of progressive overload? It's, for example, in the gym, when you do 12 reps of one exercise, the next time you'll either add 5 pounds to the weight or do one more rep. So with knowing that, I tried to just keep thinking, and eventually I pushed past my mental bandwidth, and all of a sudden I could think clearly. So there is a way to push past that with progressive overloading. This is how we increase from 1,000 mana points to maybe 1,100 mana points. And if you keep progressively overloading yourself with your mental bandwidth, you can even reach, probably in like a year or two, 2,000 mana points a day. So keep that in mind, your mana points and what you give your consumptions to. As humans in this era, we've grown this habit of just consuming so much. We don't have the ability to create. In order to create, it costs more mana points or brain points to achieve that creativity mind. So what I suggest you do is cut out all the consumption that you do that doesn't give you anything in return, and it's just wasting your brain points. That includes getting rid of scrolling. That includes maybe even sacrificing your favorite anime, your favorite TV show. Just be more aware of your brain points, because you can increase your brain points, but a lot of the things that we do nowadays, the bad habits, they decrease our brain points by a lot. With that, continue your journey and keep moving forward.